lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow, I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. The gain's an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me for. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone.
Welcome to the show, everyone. We're back. And actually, not only are we back, we were here yesterday, last night, as a matter of fact.
And Paul took over, apparently.
Oh, you're having a polite beverage when you're supposed to be doing the introduction. So
this episode
what's going
is sponsored
on,
by LaCroix.
I wish.
LaCroix.
Like desperately.
Yeah, what's up, nerds? Welcome back to the Aggressively Average Angler podcast. We are live, and we are talking about summer baits, because you know what? Summer's not over yet. There's still time. I think we could still get a couple more summer bites in. We got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to talk about a few of those things during the show today. We got lots of fun off the rails topics for you as well. I'm pretty stoked about. And we got to catch up on the Knucklehead Bass series. This is our last month, last 2 weeks. There's 14 days, whatever, however many days are in August, 31. Yeah,
31.
So, another 15 days in the old tournament, you guys. So if you have not gotten into this yet, this is the last chance that you can qualify for one of our teams. If you get on one of our teams, you get to go down to, I believe it's Lake Gunnersville, right? Alabama. We're going down to Alabama in November. We're going to have a little tournament for a day, I believe. I don't know any of the details, honestly. But it is going to be a lot of fun, and there's $10,000 on the line, as well as lots of prizes. We've been shipping them out non-freaking stop. I swear to gosh, lots of different prizes going out. But I'm gonna pull up where we're at on that while you do the Q of the D. You want to jump right in?
Sounds great. Also, we'd like to thank our sponsors: Monster Bass for helping keep the show running, Mule Fishing for helping to keep the lights on, Buzzbait for keeping all our camera gear dry, and Akuma for making this awesome hat.
All those specifics were fantastic. It's
exactly.
Like, come on.
That's what
they do. Lots of stuff, but like that hat.
But those these things uniquely this week, anyways. All right. Q of the D here. Oh, we talked about this one last night. This is a good one. What is the most 90s item, like classical, quintessential 90s item that you possessed in school at any grade, at any time during the 90s? An example would be a folder, 2 pockets with the 3 grommets in the middle to hold your papers, but it would be like a cat, a very purple binder with a big kitten face. That would be something that you would.
It would be a lot of geometry, is what you mean to say.
There would be triangles, trapezoids, octagons, light beams being shot in many directions through a prism on the front with glitter and or holographics.
I see.
A Walkman
Game
is
Boy.
such a good answer.
Walkman's great. Game Boy is great.
Trapper Keeper was the answer we were looking for. That was the answer we were looking for.
If there were a correct answer for Q of the D, it might be that.
Black Dixon Ticonderoga. If you were rich.
If you just wanted to show your classism. Oh, I'm
absolutely.
sorry.
Like no, not just a Dixon Ticonderoga, nicest pencil ever made. I have the black one, more expensive.
You were so fancy if you had that.
An eraser. You had a separate eraser, like
separate of the pencil. Yes. Yeah. So Lisa Frank
absolutely.
Was, absolutely. I'm thinking about the Game Boy, like just having the big gray block Game Boy. That was like
my blood. We were poor.
Unusable. It was
but also
so ridiculous.
Awesome. But that was Tetris. What did you with the cartridges?
Tetris. All right, so but in today's day and age, what you forget is that screens didn't used to be backlit.
No, I know.
So like
purple,
you'd be under
green.
a lamp. You'd be under a lamp, like trying 100%. To see this greenish screen with little black LCDs.
But it couldn't be too bright. If it was too bright, it got washed out.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Direct sunlight could not be.
They made a light for it. It was a little like spangly light that came up over the top. It was insane.
No,
and they also
so it was a separate. There was a separate accessory that had lights on either side that you put on top of the Game Boy that made it twice as big and had a magnifying glass to make the screen bigger.
Yeah, because the screen was tiny for the giant brick of a thing you got. You got this big of a screen.
Epic. Like 7 bits.
If you could play it.
It was unreal.
So mine was definitely the matching lunchbox thermos. And it was Ninja Turtles. The classic.
Very good.
Ninja Turtles, the late 80s, early 90s Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Very good.
Does not still hold up. It's nigh unwatchable. I actually have some on DVD because I got them a while ago.
I have two answers. I have the starter Jacksonville Jaguars NFL pullover. Salvaged. Salvaged. This would have been like 4th grade. Salvaged on clearance for like $6. Those were
starter
all
jackets,
the rage.
Man.
I couldn't afford like a good team. It was just like anything I could get my hands on, and I had Jacksonville Jaguars starter pullover.
Same. I ended up with I believe I had the Philadelphia Eagles, and I was like, why do I?
That's kind of dope, actually. I really wanted the Detroit Pistons. Grant Hill wanted it. Didn't get it.
My stepbrother got the Bulls. The Chicago Bulls.
Chicago also has some of the best logos because they had the Rad Bulls, but they also have the Blackhawks, which is like one of the best logos ever. The Detroit Red Wings are always good at that time, so theirs was very expensive, as were the Pistons. And at that time, that's when they had the piston with like the flames coming out the side, like the actual horse, not the red and blue. So it was like triple awesome because it was all teal. God, that was sweet.
You ready for this triple whammy from chat?
Tamagotchi.
Street Sharks was great, but this triple whammy in chat right now. Pogs, a yo-yo, specifically the brain. You remember that one? It would like wine.
I had the metal.
And then Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi is that's the one. That one gets me so in after I graduated from college and had my first job. I remember like 3 years out of school. No, it was like 5 years out of school. I was in my late 20s. And I actually went out and bought a handful of Tamagotchis, and I used them for months, like as an adult with a desk job.
You're like, not now, boss. Not now, chief. I gotta
feed my dinosaur. Digimon ones were trash. They were not. They were. No.
Do you remember when this wasn't 90s, but do you remember when the little? It looked like a CD player or a cassette kind of player. Mini clips. Yeah, it took the little cartridge.
I had the NSYNC mini clip.
It played 20 seconds of one song. It was like $10.
And you paid for it. They had Disney mini clips that was doing Star Wars. They were doing Star Wars stuff. So it would be like that
soundbite was great to have. Also yak backs. Do you remember Yak Back?
Yak Backs are so underrated. And I had the Yak Back that had the multiple sound effects. I got it for Christmas. That was probably my most prized possession for years.
Those are your most bougie
clear
item.
Plastic green. Amazing. Do you remember the clear purple N64?
Edition.
The clear?
Yes, I had it.
God, those were... You had that?
I had... Oh, no. My cousin had the green one that came with Donkey Kong 64. It was like the see-through green and the yellow cartridge.
Purple was Star
badass
Fox,
combo.
I think.
I don't know. You could buy it separate, but we ended up with the standard. I had the black and gray.
Yeah, the gray.
But yeah, solid stuff.
My other answer would
survive
be
the 90s.
my brothers and I each got. We were assigned a color.
Yep.
And that's how we knew whose shirt, shorts, pants, shoes, socks was whose.
What color were you?
I got either blue or green at all times. There were no other colors assigned to me at all. Yeah. My middle brother, Andy, got red. Everything was red. He got nothing but red. And Jordan got whatever else they had. Yellow, gray, black, white. It didn't matter. It just couldn't be blue, green, or red. And that was it. That was so if we got tank tops,
assigned a color.
Exactly. If we all got
other color there was.
You get the dregs. It was like if we all got coats, that was it. That was it. So the one that stands out for me is striped shirts. Had a lot of striped shirts in those colors, and had a lot of single color tank tops, like uniform color tank tops,
monochromatic,
blue, green, red, whatever was left.
Monochromatic always tries to make a comeback too. Like I was looking at,
still great.
I was looking at workout shoes and like it's all monochromatic.
I like it.
All right, so let's catch up on Knucklehead Bass series. So again, this is the last month, last shot, and we got our boy trying to make a push here. So Team Flanders in first, Steven Scott, 98.75 inches.
He's getting out like every other day.
He's putting some good fish up, man.
Green with jealous rage at the amount of fishing he's able to do.
So he said yesterday on our members only live, he's looking to push for 100. So he's very close. He needs like another upsized fish and he might be there. We got Alfredo Nunez in second on your team with 87 inches. And we got Charles Fox in third with 85.5.
We're now like 2 weeks in.
Yeah, we've alternated who won each month.
Trading punches.
Right, so I'm up right now. However, it's not looking good for Team Stark. So Team Stark number one, our first place, Michael Menges. I'm gonna go with 86.5 inches. So my best is your third right now on my team. It's not a good look,
boys.
Second, we got Charles Fox of Ohio. Whenever there's more than one of the same person, they get their state in parentheses. So Charles Fox is, and it goes I like OH. It. 85.5, so matching your third place because he's your third place person. And then Chris Rocca still just up on this leaderboard just every single month.
Up numbers.
80 inches right there. So those are the teams. That's where it stands right now. Again, you guys keep in mind if you want to qualify, there are lots of spots that are free, actually, right? The first, second, third might not go because they've already selected a team. They could have qualified for another team, not even our teams, right? So even if you see that, oh, my best is going to put me in sixth place, that might still qualify you to come down to the tourney. So I would encourage you, just keep pushing. Let's get through this month. Let's have a good tournament, and then let's all meet up in Alabama. It's going to be a blast. I'm pumped.
I need to point out something else. So everyone needs to keep fishing this month. I know it sounds stupid, but it's like, one, there's still prizes and they are still good. Two, there is a very, 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 very strong likelihood that even if you're in fifth place or seventh place, Chad is going to pick somebody from a lot of these teams to make another team or two or three teams so that we have a lot of people down in Huntsville in Alabama. So he's making he's going to make other teams, whether it's a wild card draw, a fourth place team, whatever. He's going to cobble a bunch of people together. So very good likelihood, even if you're like the fifth or sixth place, you still may end up like coming to the party.
Exactly. So get in there. This is your last shot.
The Burly called it out. It's up now as the wild card team. So there are still lots of places.
Yeah. Lots of
Rob
opportunity.
Harrison, fifth place each month. I think you're in a prime spot. You could be on the wild card team. And again, it's like this group of people on this live right now, in general, yes, I'm excited. I'm jacked. My team, I'm stoked. I feel like my team is stacked. If this was fantasy fishing, I'd be like, I'd be betting the house. But I do not care about winning. I do not anticipate fishing like super good or anything and being like mad if we don't win. I'm in it for the camaraderie. I'm in it to have some fun and obviously to have a friendly competition. Like that's it. So Do not get torqued up about like being the 120-inch guy every single month. Like, not important.
Yeah, exactly. Just for fun, you guys. All right. So today's last thing I'll say from last month, I've got two of our placers who have not sent me their information. So I can't send you prizes if I don't know where the heck you are. So we've got two of them, Jamar Carroll and Paul Worley. So if you want your prizes, Jamar Carroll, Paul Worley, please reach out to us.
Because I want to give you those prizes.
I would like to give you the prizes. I'm not doing anything with them, so please take the prizes. All right. So today's topic is a fun one. We're talking about, what do we want to get into on the live this week? And then we started thinking about see a lot of people throw these like 5 specific lures during summer, especially going into late summer. Everybody's saying you should be throwing this, you should be throwing that. And the same like 5 to 7 keep coming up. There's definitely a hot 5. So I want to discuss those real quick first. I don't want to get into this like alternate 5. I posted a picture on Instagram. My thoughts this, and I think it was a tactical bassin video like a long time ago, but I remember hearing about the 1-2 punch. And a lot of people know about the 1-2 punch. It's like, if you throw this bait and it's like generally a guaranteed bait and it doesn't get them, maybe you're getting follows, maybe you're getting looks from the fish, but you're not getting any action, then you go for the 2 punch and you bring in this second bait that pairs really well up with it. So a good example that I posted today on Instagram would be like, you throw the frog in the pads, they're not hitting the frog, you throw a weightless plastic and they hit that. And it's just like, if you have both rigged up, you got 2 rods, right? You're like, I'm going to catch out of the pads. I'm going to get a topwater bite in the pads. Great. Flipping that frog, nothing's happening. Let's go for that weightless plastic. Let it drop down a little bit in between those pads. Let it sit for a longer period of time. Give it a different profile, different size. So having something like that can be extremely efficient when you're on the water. And we want to talk about like, what are these, we'll call them dark horses, right? Out on the water that we could throw. What's the other top 5 that we'd highly recommend for you guys? And maybe you're not throwing these right now. Maybe you've even thought about it. We know most people, we don't see them throwing these at least during the summer, but we've been throwing them and they've been working really well. So I want to get into those. And then we also have a bottom 5, which is like, this is stuff I'm definitely not touching right now. In fact, it's sitting in a tackle box in a little Buzzbait Colony 28 that's not in my boat. Yeah, exactly. I have the same thing. I was set up off to the side. Like, you're grounded for all of summer. Can't wait to see you in October, right? Like, that's pretty much where these baits go. So we're going to get into all of that stuff today. And yeah, if your friends, if your fishing buddies aren't on this live right now, you might want to invite them in, because we are doing the $25 gift card to Monster Bass, end of the show, do a little giveaway. And if we hit the magic number, what's the magic number, Paul, for viewers?
We've been saying 150.
What we've been pushing, you know what? I like big stretchy goals. So let's go for 150. Yeah. Hit 150. We'll put together a big giveaway on top of that. As long as they're not all like username 775,
it doesn't work like
776. Like, you just create 35 accounts.
Yeah.
We got it. We did it. All right. So let's get into some baits. Let's start talking about this. So top 5, what comes to mind for you during the summer? You're like,
the way I think about
everybody throws these.
The way I think about it is, it's like, if you Googled articles, like if you just put into Google top 5 baits for summer, best baits for late summer, like what would come up? The first thing that's probably going to come up, or the one thing that's almost guaranteed to be on there, is a hollow body frog. Like, every 100%. Single article will have that.
Yep.
Period. The end.
All sorts of different ones, but
great answer.
The frog.
Great answer. Like, that is on deck for me all summer long, without a doubt. I'm not saying these are bad, but this is your typical top 5. Number 1 will be a frog.
Yeah. 100%. The frog, I've got it tied on at all times right now. The reigning supreme champion that has been on my frog and stick has been the Scum Frog Snag Proof. The $4.99 one, the $5 frog. It has caught an innumerable amount of
even
fish.
Even the $9 Scum Frogs, the launch series,
the trophy, the launch.
Oh my god, the launch is probably that's my favorite. That's the one that like I get.
Yeah,
like this one I have the most of. It's unreal.
Yeah, so I got a few different ones, but I've been going for just the straight green pumpkin. And if you guys don't know, the little It's a smaller frog. The $4.99 one just has like a flat skirt, right? So it lays out on the water a little bit more, and it's just like a mono skirt. It's not two-sided.
It just gets her. It's just a get her done.
It's a get her done, man. Number 2 has also been tied up a lot. The topwater walking bait. Topwater walking bait has been getting explosive blowups all dang summer. And this is much fun to fish.
This is the first thing that I actually recommend to people. Like when someone's like, what do I use for late summer? This is the first thing my brain goes to, actually.
Yeah. Like, and also we totally understand throughout the country, we go further south. Late summer is much later in the year. We get it. Or essentially,
this is late summer for you. This is not today. This is late summer for you. So for us, August, we're getting into late summer.
It's like almost fall fishing
October, time. Sure. It's whatever it is for you. So whatever time of year you consider late summer, where the water temps are hitting peak, that's what we're talking about here. Or I've already hit peak. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly. So yeah, we're changing things up a little bit. We'll get into what those baits are here in just a second. We're still just hitting like the top 5, right? So if you're not throwing a topwater walking bait, it's something I do highly recommend, because some of those catches are just phenomenal. They're a blast. I had a fish. I got a video of this. No, it's not the one I sent. I sent you the one where I lost him on a chatterbait.
Yeah.
But topwater walking, I was actually just like looking at this storm that was rolling past us, and I was like, oh man, am I gonna have to like get off the water? It blew past, but as I'm watching this thing come up, this guy just smacks it. He fully emerges, comes right out of the water, just like a little guy, like 13, 14-inch bass. Just but it was so violent. So much fun.
Love it. Yeah. And really, a walking bait, the nice thing about a walking bait, and the reason I recommend it over other stuff, it works on docks, it works in shallow water.
Yep.
It works in deep water. It works over grass. It doesn't matter. If you're in the neighborhood, it's going to be effective.
Yeah, exactly. You really can't go wrong right now, because especially if you get a rattly one. So the one that was working for me this weekend was what is the Berkeley one called? No, the Berkeley one that we just got.
The cane walker?
No. I haven't said its name enough. I can't even think of it right now. But anyways, just it's basically a spook, right? It's a 2 treble, same body size as a spook, slightly different
Jaywalker.
shape. The Jaywalker, thank you. So the Berkeley Jaywalker was crushing it this weekend. Absolutely crushing it. And it was just in like this translucent white. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just knocking them dead. But it's loud, like it draws them up. So yeah, you can't really go wrong. Like it's going to bring them out. And I was watching them. We have pretty clear water on our lake, so I went with the white clear one. But you could see them, like they'd be under the pads, under a dock, and you just see the shadow just and T-bone that thing. So great option. Please throw. Please throw this.
Yeah, this is your typical top 5. When you Google for an article, it's what you get. These are not bad answers. These are good answers. We're just going to go one level deeper after this. Next up is going to be the big worm. So we're going to say 8 inches plus. And this could be a curly tail, a power worm, whatever you want to call it. This could be the wacky rig, the deep water. Like there's no bad place for it. It works everywhere. This could be Texas rig. This could be shaky head. This could be freaking free rig. It's like it doesn't matter. This is big worms though. They are going to get it done. They get it done, I think, best in deep water, and then when dragged through like medium cover shallow, they will light it up. Just light it up.
Yeah. And when in doubt, go weightless. Like you can get them on that slow fall as well. But the big worm is of course another great option. The Zoom old monster. Yeah. We're talking the giants here.
Yeah, dude.
I love it. So after that, you're gonna see probably some flipping jigs.
Yes.
Flipping especially up on docks. We got this fish going up in shade. They're hiding up in structure. They're tucked in, and you can flip a jig right into that structure.
Or in a pads.
You're getting big bites. Yeah, flip them into the pads. Look for those gaps. And fishing up shallow, like it's perfect conditions for that. So jigs are a lot of fun. Definitely, don't get me wrong. Like they're a lot of fun. That's why it's in the top 5.
Probably next to a frog hook set. It's right up there.
That little wind down and then bam.
There's nothing. It's really, really hard to beat.
Yeah.
It so really satisfying.
It is. So there's a reason it's in the top 5. There's a reason everybody's throwing it, and it's extremely effective in that structure right now, for sure. And then when the bass push off, like where are they headed? What do I do? They're going
That,
deep.
especially open water, or when you're searching, it's a deep diving crankbait. Again, the right answer, and perfect at number 5 too, because it is like the last thing I'd grab.
I'm not grabbing it first. Yeah.
But it's gonna get her done. And really, it's not. We'll get into it, but yeah, deep diving crankbait, and that'll be on the list. This is at like 4 out of 5 lists will have that.
Yeah, exactly. And like to prove that, we checked a bunch of lists.
I googled 6 or 7 different articles just to
we
be
had
like,
a feeling
we were
like, I'm pretty sure these are around that top 5, and there was like 1 or 2 outliers, but the most common 5 that we saw on all these blogs year after year, it's these 5.
Even the Monster Bass blog, which I probably have made this exact video.
Yeah, go figure. We've done a few of them. So yeah, I mean, if those are the top 5, then I'm thinking like let's take a look at the alternate top 5.
What's 6 through 10?
The get no love. Not even necessarily, I wouldn't say 6 through 10. So to me, these could be top 5. They just get overlooked.
That's what I'm saying.
These are the under the radar top 5. Yeah. Right?
I'm with you. Yep.
So what are those?
Let's say you do all the top 5 and it doesn't work. What's
you
next?
got 5 more.
What's next? We have 5 more for you.
Yeah.
This is the majority. This is where, and it was actually harder than I thought it was going to be.
It was, and I also think that some of these you'll be like, oh yeah, duh, but like not everybody's throwing it.
But also not duh, because they're not always on the list. Sometimes they're on the top 5, but not as much as I would have liked to have seen.
These are baits that they're gonna get it done, and they're also gonna get it done in like some unique situations, like you're out on the river or something. Like these are the multi-purpose lures. These are also kind of the point of what I posted on Instagram too, is like, let's talk about that 1-2 punch. A lot of these can pair up really well with the other top 5. There's something you could throw as the alternate, have them both rigged, go for the other one, right? See if that works. Good example would be, we talked about the topwater walking bait. So I'm going to jump to number 2 on this one, just because it pairs up with one of the top baits. Throwing the topwater walking bait. It's loud, it's noisy, it's got a big profile. They're swimming up on it. And that's one of those baits that you want to cast out a mile. You want to give it as much time as possible for them to key in on it, take a look, really sniff it out, and then they hit it, right? It might take a minute. Now, something you could do alternatively that you had a lot of success with, I think it was like the other weekend, you were fishing at my place on the bank, and you were just banging it out on this thing. Was the
Which
popper.
One? The Pop R. Yeah.
Yeah. The Rebel Pop R.
So,
which you cast off and I had to retrieve with Buzzbait, but like we got it back.
And this was over deeper water. I mean, here's the thing I like about the popper or the Pop R, if that's the specific
I
one.
chose the Rebel Pop R. It's kind of like our go-to, but just a popper. Just any popper. Yeah.
Nice thing about the popper is that it works really good on docks. Extremely good on like docks and cover. It works extremely well over grass, and it works extremely well over grass. So like when the walking bait is like not getting it done, this is to me just like the louder, meaner, more aggressive version of the exact same bait. The other thing I love about a popper is that you can go super fast, you can go slow, like what's the slowest of the slow, and because it floats so well, I have like no fear of throwing it virtually anywhere except for the pads. Like you could throw it 90% of the water. So to me, it's just like the mega walk. It's like the mega loud when they want something aggressive walking bait. It's also one of the best like blow ups ever. It's probably because it's such a surprise. The walking bait, a lot of times you can see them come up to it and stuff, but sometimes you just get the sip and like that'll be the biggest fish that you get. And sometimes it's just this like boom, like explosion on like calm water. It's amazing.
It is. It's a really fun, do-all, super deadly bait. One of the things I really like about it, and the great example was when we were fishing from the bank that day, is that it seems to, in my opinion, or just experience, has performed better at different speeds, right? So there's sometimes you want to do that like hyper speed, right? And you're just like bang, 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 bam, they hit it. That's when they're like really hyped up. They're aggressive. That's great. On this day we were fishing, they were not aggressive. So what we did was the only thing that worked was one pop, wait. One pop, wait.
But it was doubling up on other baits like 2-1.
Oh, it's crushing it because it also helps when you have a popper with a streamer on it, so you get that added flash, a little something else they can key on and get some attention to. That seems to really help out, and the Pop R has that. So yeah, you were literally waiting 5 to 10 seconds, depending on if we saw anything.
Yep.
You're just like big bloop, because the popper does a great like blooping water pushing sound. It's bloop, so good, and then you just wait forever, and then they would just hit it. Right. And it seems to get hit that way, for me at least, a lot more than a topwater walking bait. For me, it's either lazy cadence or it's like a pop, pop, pause, pause, or it's an aggressive cadence with the topwater walking bait. Yep. That's like all that ever gets it done. There is hit it.
On the weight, it just doesn't work.
Wait for it.
It really, I don't know why.
I don't either.
It's kind of weird that it doesn't.
Yep.
The other thing I will say about a popper is that, and this is the last thing, I know we're going crazy on the popper, but it works really good on bait casting gear if you have the right rod, like a soft rod.
Yep.
However, it works so good on spinning gear. And the reason I say that is like if you're a kayak fisherman, when you've got all your baits tied up, like if you got a frog and stick, if you got a walking bait, that's going to be on a bait caster more than likely. And then if you've got some of these other baits, like a big worm, that's probably going to be on a bait caster. So when you have stuff that's top water that works really good on spinning gear, it means you don't need to have it on a bait caster. And if you're 3 and 3, like a lot of times we're 3 and 3, we'll have 3 bait casters, 3 spinning setups. It's like a bonus, and you're not tying knots. You can leave it on the spinning gear, and that's where it does some of its best work. And so it's like, that's really nice to be able to have that on deck.
Exactly. And I'm also seeing in chat, a lot of people are saying things like the torpedo, the head and torpedo, prop baits. I saw the Chapo in here and fully agree with you guys. They were literally the next bonus bait
Chapo
for us.
was that was next
right
on the list.
there.
I said it out loud. What about the Chapo?
Yeah,
we
this close.
It's a great bait. Like, don't get me wrong. And that's the tough thing about this list for summer. And this is why we did a bottom 5. The bottom 5 are not awful choices. They're just not even close to the top 10.
Europe number 1. Europe number 1. This is a rich man's fishing channel. I don't know what you're getting out of Rebel Pop R.
He said it was a question mark.
No, it's not.
I said no, absolutely not.
I appreciate tight 88. It's a mid range. We're so mid, you guys.
We're mid. We're super mid. We hit up the whole stratosphere.
Yeah.
Because the only plastics company we work with is the cheapest plastic that I know that you can go get.
The highest value. Highest value is what I would say.
For sure.
Mule fishing. Go check them out. You can see those prices.
$4.50 for a pack of anything is $4.50 for a pack of anything, I think, is about as low as it gets. Like, and it's extremely high value. So
and then this guy, Paul, will go off on a tangent. He'll buy every brand new BFS Mega Bass product for another unboxing. So I agree with Tight 88. Like, yes, we are a mid-range, meaning we try to fish both ends of the spectrum, all across the board, all the price points. We get it. And you know what? It is what it is. So it's interesting just to see the differences. That we just did a cheap versus expensive shopping unboxing and on the water fishing video. Like, that just dropped. So if you want to see,
it was
like,
very
50-50. It was 50-50.
Some of the super expensive, like, that's the one. Some of the cheaps, like, nope, that's the one.
Yep. So no, not a rich man's fishing channel from 2 not rich men. All right. So I'll go back in order, Chaz. I'll go back up to number 1 now. Sorry about that. So this has been my number 1, and I saw mixed feelings about this, which is interesting. And I could say maybe it's where you're fishing it, because I've been highly productive on this bait, and it wasn't like a strength bait for me until the last 2 years. Really, like, it wasn't something I was throwing. I didn't even own that many of these, but a buzzbait. Right. And everybody thinks like hot water, rainy days, especially like buzzbait. It's windy out here. It's rainy out here. It's stormy, whatever front conditions. Buzzbaits generally kill it. Summer, it's typically there, but it's like I never see it on the top 5.
Never. It never is. And it's kind of wild. Here's the weird thing about the buzzbait and why I love having it on the list is that almost everybody has become a lot more aware that a Chapo type bait, like a prop bait that scoops a lot of water, is best on windy, it's best on chop, it's best on cloudy, or it's best on open water. Like, that's where it's going to be really successful.
Yep.
I do not hear a lot of people talking about that with a buzzbait. For me, a buzzbait is good in the pads. It's good along the pads. It's good in deep water. It's good on hot summer days. It's good like all the time. Like, and I don't know if maybe I'm just wrong and I've gotten lucky sometimes, but like I don't have the same qualms where like I don't want to grab the Chapo or whatever, the river to sea plopper. Unless I see like some chop or some wind or some of those things. I don't want to grab it as much. Buzzbait, I'll grab it on the hottest flat water day and be confident I'm going to catch fish.
Yeah, it is. Some was, especially people down south would say this. It's like an all year bait. Up here, it's definitely it's not an all year bait up here. You can produce on it if you try really, really hard, I guess.
Summer though, but it's a summer bait.
Summer, it's fantastic, especially coming up into the end of summer. So the one I did want to call out though, this is the Jig Masters Micro Buzz, which we just picked up from Rockablades. So Rocka, one of our members, sent us each one.
Was on my team.
He sent me one too, whatever jerk. 3/16 of an ounce, downsized blade as well. I threw a 2.5 inch paddle tail on this thing, and I was crushing it this weekend. It's so good that after I broke off and lost it, I bought 2 more. So
what were you throwing it on?
BFS. It was on the. It was not the right setup, but it was the Cast King Zephyr Shimano Sensolite combo that I have. Just because it had, I was running straight braid on it, 8-pound test, but it's Power Pro. It wasn't ideal. So the problem that what happened was I watched it happen. The fish turned, the braid wrapped the buzzbait blade, and it cut the line. Like the blade cut the line because I don't know, at that point caught a dozen or so fish on it, and it was just banged up. So it was, I don't know, something happened, whatever, cut the line. I bought 2 more. I love that thing. Absolutely love that buzzbait. It's great. And sometimes throwing the downsize makes a big difference. That's what I found because I threw the upsized buzzbaits that day. I was like, you know what? I'd rather have a bigger fish on this bigger buzzbait. And I threw them a whole bunch. No productivity whatsoever. Did not catch on them. Go right back to my micro buzz. And I tried 2 that day. I also did the Strike King has a micro buzz that's pretty solid. I do not like the short shank and the hook keeper on it. I much prefer the Jig Masters over that one, but it is totally doable in a pinch if you throw a shorter trailer on it. So I cut the skirt off of mine too. So the Strike King Mini Buzz comes with that skirt. Snipped it off.
The Strike King Mini Buzz. It's one of the squeakiest out of the box I've ever.
It really, and you can modify it really easily, and it's super cheap. Super cheap.
When it
Jig
comes
Masters is less than $5 too, though.
No, there's nothing wrong with the Jig Master, but like,
you're at the store, you want to grab something off the shelf, great option.
Squeaky as
fantastic
heck.
Option. It really is.
Heck, that was actually my first spinnerbait or first buzzbait.
Buzzbait.
I didn't know they made big ones when I got that one. I thought that was like the only buzzbait you could get.
Exactly. Oh no, Blind Eye got us again. Us Northerners with our micro bass.
Hey, we love our little micro fish. Micro everything. Micro everything. Every single thing. Everything.
The fish, the plastics, the lures, the boat. Oh, wait,
not the monsters. The monsters, we like to be Magnum.
Full-size monsters, Magnum monsters. Why don't they make super tall boy monsters?
They do. They were called the BFC.
And it had the screw cap, right?
No, that was not. That was a big thing with the cap. That was big. That was like 2 monsters. But the BFC was 3. And I watched a kid bong one, and I thought he was going to die. I was very confident he was going to be not alive anymore. Not on this plane of existence.
What?
He made it.
Oh, but
it was terrifying.
So the Futurama episode where Fry drinks 100 cups of coffee and then he rescues everybody from a burning building because he stops time. It's like he did it before X-Men did it with what's his face?
Silver Surfer.
X-Men. No, the
Quicksilver.
Thank you. Yes, that one. So yeah, so good. But anyways, so this guy did not do that. I'm assuming he did not stop time and like mess with you guys. No, that's fine. Yeah, the BFC, insane. That's like what's it? Foster's, the Australian beer comes in that like
Australian for beer.
Comes in 32.
That's
32
not even.
ounce.
I feel like if you said
Yeah,
Fostis in Australia,
Fostis.
they'd hit you.
They
Like,
would
and
hit you if you said it
and everyone be
anywhere.
like, "Yep, deserved."
Deserved.
He earned that one. That
Oh
was not on
man.
the top 5, but the next one is. So we've got the
Yes.
first one was the popper. The second one was the buzzbait. The third one is the drop shot.
Everybody gasp. Audible gasp. Who's throwing a drop shot in the
Now,
summer?
I don't care where you are.
Yeah.
Southerners don't get upset. The drop shot is going to work for you. Now, this could be a power shot. It can be upsized, but it's probably going to be like more medium sized for you. And I got to be honest, this for me, when we were going through the list, the popper and the drop shot were the two that really they're in my top 5.
100%.
Like for
Of course,
me in the summer,
brown bait
these are
goes
in my.
mad.
If I was doing a top 5, that would be these.
For sure. So the drop shot is like deadly in the summer. Nobody wants to throw it. It's just like, that's a cold water thing. I'll wait until the fall. I'll only do that in the spring, whatever. We're catching like some of our most productive days, number wise, like numerous fish, drop shot. And some of our biggest fish have been on drop shot. We had a couple really good misses on a few back in, when was that? July. We went to the Scary Lake, the party lake. You remember that?
Sure do.
And we were just fishing 15 feet of water and just ripping them, you guys. It was insane. That was on the Berkeley flatworm power bait. Dude, money. Mango magic.
Mango magic.
But one that's like highly productive that I love throwing on ultralight and on just like any spinning tackle is the minnow, the mule minnow. Go use that. There's nothing else I need to say. Get every color and just throw it on a drop shot. You can get every color for $25. You got every color, 8 to a pack or whatever it is, a ton. Go fish that. And it doesn't die because it's stretchy.
Still have my
material.
original pack. Dakota Sunrise for me is the clear water. That's the one for clear water to start with.
You got Dakota, chartreuse, and white. You have every color you need.
I agree.
That's it. Period. You're gonna be super happy.
I agree. So
drop shot, money, especially when we're trying to catch those fish down deep. I had a real good drop shot catch this weekend. So, on my lake that, at the launch, you go out that channel, you get to the main lake, right? The end of the channel is
where it's deep,
super deep. It's where it starts to get deep. So you get down to about 18, 20 feet, which for these lakes is super deep. I get it. It's 40 foot in the middle of this lake. That's the deepest it gets. But at that point, there's usually a few fish schooling up. So I pull up on that spot. I turn on the Panoptics. I'm looking down there, and I saw he was just hanging on the edge of this weed line. Just saw this little blob. I was like, okay, I'm going to catch this fish. And I anchored up, couple casts. I caught a couple random other guys. He's still just sitting there. And I got my drop shot. I'm seeing the drop shot on the live scope, go down to him. I'm playing video game things, right? And he just zips out at it. I was like, Urgh. It was such a winning moment. Every time I figure out something with live scope, I'm like, yes, you validated this purchase 1% more.
It's so funny you say that. So this was back when we filmed with Monster Bass in Michigan years ago. I only got one truly epic fish pick out of that whole thing. And it was when we were in that dry spell before you started hitting them with the Patriot. We could not find a fish. Sam Moore would only follow you. There was
he was so mad too.
He was glued onto you.
That day, I had to figure out how to use topwater walking baits because I had never thrown one before. So he was like, "I'm filming you, and also here's your baits." And I was like, "Okay,
great." We had no idea what was coming in.
Yeah.
So, Rafi was in the other boat, and they were following me, and we were just kind of goofing around. And we were taking a lot of photos.
Yep.
And I looked down 10 feet of water, and I happened to see a huge fish swimming by. I had a Dakota Sunrise, like a purple colored drop shot.
Yep.
I fling it out at 1,000 miles an hour.
I get it. It was a Nico leech. We had just gotten them
2 feet in front of that fish.
Yep.
No hesitation, instant inhale.
Yep.
17, 18-inch fish, and it was like, well, that was easy. And they were like, do that again. I was like, what?
But then you got to be like, Sam. From the other side.
Sam was dead to me. He wasn't even in the same zip code. He's like, I'm too busy looking at Jeff.
Yeah, I did end up having.
You were 99% of that day.
still one of my best topwater bait days, period.
Really?
That day. Yeah. It was nonstop. And like we're on this podunk middle of nowhere lake in northern-ish Michigan, like near Houghton Lake area, an hour away from Houghton Lake, really.
Yeah, it was not close. It was like
It was
45-minute drive.
We were staying on Houghton Lake, but we had to drive forever to this spot. Anyways, middle of nowhere, fish is like, I don't know how to use that bait. That's why it ranks top tier for me, just because I had to figure it out. And then we did.
It was the perfect lake for that bait. I know no one gives a crap about this talk right now. It was perfect because it was like 7 to 10 feet tall grass. The whole exterior of that lake. It was loaded. And you just had to get lucky over a fish. And so the walking bait was perfect.
Yep. Also, Chaz, the off the rails counter, I think is 5 at this point. It should be 5.
Chaz is talking. He's saying no, we're at 0. I'm going with it. That's the rating. Moving on. Number 4 after the drop shot. We don't care what you say. This one was Jeff. He was strong in his opinion here, and I'm very good to go with it. We talked about it earlier. Weightless plastics in those thick spots. So you go to the frog, you find some really, really tall grass, and the frog is maybe getting hit, but not like slashed at, but not swallowed. And you're like, what do I do now? Follow-up bait, weightless fluke. I think, Jeff, you had written down here the Z-Man Goat, which is that super, super floaty, kicky feet plastic, right? And there's a million other options. Like any it's really any plastic, but really going weightless plastics. And I do think the fluke is like my number 1 choice.
Yeah, I'd say like you have one that sinks and one that floats, right? And then you're going to get it done because you can, those ones that sink, let them sink in between the pads and the gaps in those pads, and you're going to get bit on those drops. And then I like something like the Goat or the Goat Toads I was using this weekend because it just runs over the pads so well. It's like the least snaggable material. And then it's indestructible, so it's kind of perfect.
I like the frog. So they have the frog with the kicky feet, the little one. It's amazing. And Debo just joined. He says, I just joined Debo? And her drop shot, ... I'm out. So we already lost him. He's been here for 0.4 seconds. 7 words in, he gone.
He almost joined right after drop shot. It would have been good.
He would have been gone a lot earlier.
Now we're fishing the pads, and he's just like, I don't know.
Well, we gave him an alternative to a frog, so he's definitely out.
Classic.
The weightless plastic stuff. They do work in pretty much every scenario. That's another bait that gets it done almost everywhere, except for like big open water. Like I'm not even. No,
you take your time.
No.
25
6 feet or less is really where you're going to grab that. Number 5 on the overlooked last one. This one was mine, and this is a strong opinion for me. It's a big paddle tail. It's like a 5-inch plus paddle. 5-inch plus paddle tail on an open hook, just jig, like a ball head or some sort of swim bait type, just standard hook, not weedless.
Yeah,
you're running this one for the big hook set on a big swallow. That's the one for me.
100%. This is also a time when I want to bust out. We haven't even tried these out yet. I still haven't, but the new Bass Mafia swim bait, the Dangerous.
Yes.
The Bass Mafia Dangerous, the Mega Bass Mag Draft. These are things that make Brennan Brown happy. And then like a 4 or 5 inch. I like the Rage Swimmers.
Rage Swimmer is like the quintessential, and it's the answer.
Oh, it's pretty good. Right. And rig it any way you want, but the swim bait jig, right?
It's just what
swim bait hook.
It's so versatile with just a ball head jig. Just easy, gonna work. And
need flashy, go for that underspin, change it up, whatever.
What I don't like about the underspin, even though that's caught my biggest fish this year, is that on the 4-inch, on the 5-inch rage tail as Rage Swimmer, actually, it's you're going to get a big bite.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're going to get a big bite. But that open hookup ratio and hook set, I just have so much more confidence in. And I'm not really worried about getting hung up. Like I'm not fishing this, over grass, but not in anything heavy. This is swimming. It's big silhouette. It's it's a dinner bell. Like that's what makes it so good. And those fish are, especially shallow, like that's go time. You're getting bit.
Yep. And like there were plenty of bonus baits on this list as well. Like swim baits, not glide baits. Multi-jointed swim baits are on my list because you can just burn them and stop them. And again, it's not a strength bait for me. It's just something that we recently got into.
Wake baits.
Wake baits was definitely up
Just
there.
missed the
Baits.
cut. Just missed the cut.
And we talked about Whopper Plopper, Chapo,
Sure did.
torpedoes, like any of those types of bait. Those are all bonuses. We didn't quite get to those. Do we do the bottom 5, or do we go slow rolling thunder and do some?
Can we we're gonna blast through the bottom 5. We're gonna blast.
All right, here's the bottom.
The reason
5.
we're blasting is that these are not. I was hesitant because like a lot of these, like it's not that they won't catch fish.
Yeah,
they will. They will catch fish. It's summertime. Like almost everything is good to go. But these are our bottom 5. So before you get very upset and we pick your favorite bait, this is just our bottom 5. That's all I'm going to say before we hit it.
Our opinion, man.
Man.
So what are we not taking with us right now, Paul?
I'm really not a finesse worm guy. Like I'm not throwing shaky head. I'm just not doing it. I love shaky head fishing.
Worms or
a 4.5-inch worm. Like I'm just not doing it. I would go the big worm, like 8 to 10 inches. I would do that all day before
shaky,
this. Yeah. Way ahead.
Versus a finesse option.
I'd grab a crop way ahead of this.
The box that currently does not, it's collecting dust. It does not make it to the boat is my jerkbait setup. It's like all my jerkbaits.
I know.
Are so sad right now.
It can work.
You can catch
it. It can work. I'm not doing it. It's not for me right now. I've got
a month.
In a month, it's my number 1.
Yes.
It's like and I should just made that video and it's my number 1. Yeah. 0 to hero.
Exactly. Theron Lewis Jr. says, no shaky head. I'm hurt. I mean, we're just not grabbing them because everything else is catching. But it's somewhere down the list.
I would Texas way over this. Yeah. Way over this.
Something that comes up soon though, and something that was highly productive on the St. Lawrence when we fished that. Remember that?
It's one of my favorite ways to fish. Don't get me wrong, but just not for this month.
Yep, exactly. Next up, lipless.
Again, one of my favorites. One of my favorite ways to catch a fish. Works. It works.
We're not
using like it won't work. Not grabbing it. I would grab all those other 10 baits first.
100%. And then the only reason this next one is on the bottom 5 is because the other 2 are not. So swim baits, both your multi-jointed, like hard swim baits, and also your soft plastic swim baits, the big boys that Megabass, Mag Draft, whatever. Fish Lab has a new swim bait that we've been using. But I've got on all sorts of them, right? Glide baits. Glide baits are down there just because like I'm not doing that super slow. I've thrown them. Don't get me wrong.
Brown bait says they work extremely well in the summer. I can't doubt him because he's the king. So I'm happy to be wrong.
Haven't worked
for me.
They work in about a month really well.
Yeah.
There's this magic window for sure. Like I feel like last year I started catching them. It was September. It's going to be the same this year, but I have been throwing them, Brown. Don't get me wrong, man.
Everyone's so mad. It is what it is. We're really sorry.
It's something I want to catch on for sure, but it hasn't worked for me. Swim baits.
It's just not the first thing. Last one, and this has already came up. This is mine. It's a Nico rig. It's not that it won't work. It will, but I would go Texas. I would go the loose head, the wobble head all day over a Nico.
Oh yeah.
You're going to encounter so much more grass, and then the Nico gets wrecked by grass. If you have the rings, it's okay. It's still just not ideal, and they can't compare to an EWG. So I'm EWG
all day. All right, there you go. We got a couple of agrees. We got a couple of people saying like, no way, not down here or whatever. Like we totally get it.
Not in your house. I get it. It's okay.
That's the reason this episode was more about try these alternative 5 and don't worry if we just aren't throwing these other ones right now. But highly recommend you guys, if you haven't been throwing any of the top 10, really the typical top 5, we talked about the hollow body frog, topwater walking bait, big worms, however you want to rig them, flipping jigs and deep diving crankbaits, or our alternate top 5s, the most slept on, the overlooked, right? The buzzbait or micro buzz, poppers, drop shot, your weightless plastics, especially in those dirty, thick cover spots, and then big old paddle tails. If you're not throwing those, throw them. Do it right now. Go catch some fish. All right, let's do a shmiveaway, shall we? We got a $25 Monster Bass gift card, good for anything on the site except the box. So pick up a rod. There's a rod coming. I wish I could tell you guys a date. Like we have our ultralight rod. Paul has a sample blank in hand. A lot of people were asking us like, why this, why that? It's a sample. Somebody was literally like, what's the outside diameter of the tip and the base and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I don't have those because we don't have the actual final product. So
even if we did, I'm not going to grab my calipers to measure that. I'm sorry.
well, some people might want to be fair. I was just like, look, man, it's not out yet. We don't have that. He was like, why isn't it on the site? I was like, it's not there because it doesn't exist. So we're working on it. It's coming up soon. Hopefully we can give you guys a date very soon. Sorry about that. Hang with us. But yeah, you can use it for anything on the site. So start chatting some stuff. I see some people know the rules. If you're new to the show, you got to type something in chat to qualify. We will draw a random winner and you will follow the instructions on the screen to get your $25 gift card. There you go. So Slow Rolling Thunder. I was on a roll last night. Came up with 2 good ones in here. So we can go through these. I'm excited about this first one though. Chat, you gotta chime in on these. This is part of the friggin' show. This is what the fun is. So my nerds, let me know, what is the most unhinged boat snack you've ever seen either yourself or probably somebody else consume? You're out fishing. You're with your buddy. You grab your Slim Jim. You're just like, all right, nom nom nom. I'm having my beef jerky, and then this guy rolls up next to you and he pulls out, get this, a full block of cheese as if he's about to make charcuterie. He then wraps it in a pound of ham, and then he spreads. No. He dipped it into another container of mayonnaise.
First, I wrapped it,
and he just goes,
I wrapped it in turkey, and then I dipped it in mayonnaise.
That's
Get it right.
That's the most unhinged thing
Get it right.
I've ever seen consumed on a boat.
How can you say ew?
You guys tell me.
And what part of that is gross?
You're so mad at Techwin. Ew.
Just wondering.
Brown Bacon yucks.
How is this gross?
Do not disagree with Theron.
You're telling me you haven't had like 600 beverages and then gone into your fridge and been like, oh, I'm going to eat cheese and meat and dip it in mayonnaise?
Before everybody beats up Paul, Burly just said pickled pig's feet at room temp.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Oh,
No. I would say the same for like pickled eggs for me. That would freak me out. But pig's feet for sure. My gosh.
So
making hot dogs. You cooked up some glizzies on the boat, man. Good job, Andy. That's not gross. That's super cool.
Look,
we haven't cooked on the boat yet.
I'm gonna tell you guys right now.
One time.
Yeah, you know what? That worked really well. Yeah. I would say this. Look, in my defense, this is not a defense, by the way. Yeah. I am a garbage disposal.
It's true. Yep.
I don't have taste buds. I don't really care. I eat paper in my sandwiches because I don't take the paper in between the cheese slices, and I just keep going.
That's true. So we talked about 90s early on the show, right? So let's take Cabbage Patch Kids. You remember the Cabbage Patch Kids that like it had a tractor system and like you could feed it food and it would just go through? That's Paul. It's literally Paul.
You can't stop it. Once the process is started, it can't be stopped. I remember we got breakfast pizzas from Ellen's Corners. They were so hot. We were in a team of rugby players. There's like 40 of us. Not a single person could eat the pizza, the breakfast pizza, because it was so hot. I hammered 5 pieces before anyone even picked one up with success.
That's called strategy.
I didn't enjoy a single second of it, but I ingested all of it. So
the whole time, this was the sound of everybody heard. You're just
like breathing my way through it, scorching all of the inside of my mouth. Do not care.
Most terrifying thing. If that was on a boat, it would have been my most.
It would have been the most.
This man ate boiling hot cheese on bread.
I will also eat it faster than anybody else, and I'm willing to bet that. I don't really know what the most unhinged thing. I mean, we saw the cheese curds. That was solid. Definitely awkward.
Delicious, and we hammered them.
But very awesome. Like
kind of gross on the water. Like everything gets all slimy and wet.
Yeah, some squeaky cheese for sure. I'm trying to think of what else. It's probably just more of the stuff that I've eaten because I just bring leftovers from home.
Oh, it's 100% you.
So if it's just like goulash, I'm like, this is fine. I'm like, goulash, that's fine. That's not a problem.
I've seen you eat like something you would microwave in your Ziploc container.
Like potatoes and chicken. I'm just like,
Paul brings it out. It's got tinfoil on top. He's like, all right.
I don't care. Like, I don't care.
Oh, God.
The most unhinged thing was my jaw.
We made
Fair
the
enough.
joke last night on the members only live, but the most unhinged thing was your jaw.
Fair enough. And I'm willing for that to be okay. Now, one of the best things we ever brought that we didn't anticipate when we were up north on the same trip we were talking about, on a different trip we talked about earlier, was Taco Bell. The whole meal.
Bell, Baja Blast.
Some Baja Blast frozen freezies, a couple of Crunchwrap Supremes, a couple of chili cheese burritos.
This was
very good.
No, this was the second day.
Yes.
When we went to a lake, it was so hot. We were so toast, and we weren't.
Everyone else went to eat dinner at like a sit-down restaurant. We were like, no. We will get Taco Bell and be on the water before you in your boats.
And we will fish until it's super late.
Yeah, we also fished later. I'm willing to. That was good. It worked out well.
Good time. We went through the canals and we caught a ton of fish. It was a blast.
Are we ready to run it?
I think we should run it, and then we'll do one or two of these other ones.
Yep.
So Chaz.
Yes.
Who we got? Nightbot says, Dub D's! Dub D's!
Another one.
Yes. Oh, man. I think we have his info somewhere. Dub D's, you here? You got to claim that. Dub D's.
We'll let him have it. While we're waiting. What number do you want to do?
Rods.
What number do you want to do?
Let's go with we'll just take these two to the next show.
Okay.
Because I want to do this one.
All right.
Do you want to do this one?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with it. All right. So what
chat, you have to play.
Yeah.
I'll do it. All right. So chat, you got to play on this next one too. This will be our last Slow Run Thunder. So again, congrats to Dub D's. He says, I'm here, nerds. So we got you, bro. We'll send you the gift card. Congrats again. And last question. What is the most white girl thing you do? I want you to just picture yourself in Ugg boots, yoga pants, and you're getting your pumpkin spice latte, right? Like, but what is this Paul Glass, that you do?
Yeah. So for me,
chat, you gotta.
I have a high number. I got a bunch of. I got a bunch.
There's a lot.
I got a bunch. But the one that stands out the most, like if everyone saw me do this, they would probably have the same thought. My order at like Big B or Starbucks or anywhere is a White Claws. That's not. I guess that's me for sure. No, is that a white? Okay. Yes. Yeah, White Claws for sure. All seltzers are delicious. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. But for me, it's this still takes that cake by far. It's I get a large latte with mint flavor. So when the person announces that, like the person at the counter announces it, I'm like, I have zero cares. I'm like, please say something. Anyone say something. This is delicious, and no one else is ordering it. It's amazing.
Girl Scout Thin Mint latte. Yeah, that's me.
Freaking standing. They can name it whatever they want.
I'm gonna second both of those. So White Claws, hard seltzers.
They're great. All seltzer beverages.
Hook 'em up fishing margaritas. There's something about. I go to my mom's house. My mom has this like super fancy hot tub. She's just like, I'm retiring. I'm buying this crazy hot tub. It's like a spaceship, right? So we go to her house. We make margaritas at night, and we hop in the hot tub. And that is like quintessential peak white girl. And then I will also get like the pumpkin spice latte. I don't care. It's delicious. Yeah, I will have my Starbucks. I think was it Andy Ramey says he brings his Starbucks out on the kayak. I haven't done
that yet.
Fall like that.
Respect.
Kind of interested in doing that.
Yeah.
We've done the really cold days. We make the big thermos of coffee, right? But like let's get the real deal. Let's get some
just pour that in. You know what really is, so I don't like to do this because I know it's all milk. I don't like to do this because it's all sugar, but you know it's really, really delicious. If you go to the gas station and you get like your own mug, like a Yeti type cup, like an insulated cup or whatever, pour in half of the Colombian coffee, the 100% Colombian. I'm assuming it's a Speedway because that's where I go. You fill up halfway with the Colombian, 100% dark. It's a really good coffee. But then the other half, fill with your favorite flavor from the machine. So I like the French vanilla. That's my fave. But like whatever you're into from the machine,
cut it though, right?
Cut it with half, dude. It stays hot for longer. One with the coffee in it, which is really nice. It cuts the sugar in half, which is nice. But there's so much sugar that like the flavor is still very good at a 50-50. It's wonderful. That is everyone should do that. Try it one time. it'll be like you'll just be like, oh wow, I need to do this.
Ice
less
fishing
often.
days, it's clutch.
Oh yeah, for ice fishing, it's phenomenal.
Here's my last one. These, especially
What?
having the handle. This is like all the girls have the Stanley. It's like a 40
the big cup
version. It's got the handle. So every time I'm walking around with my handle, like, but this is also very much like dad mowing the lawn, right?
That's where I'm at with that. I don't really use mine
it
anymore.
It could go either way. Nobody
yeah,
owns that.
Go either way with that. Yeah, big cup for sure.
The other piece of that is my desk is always littered with them.
Oh, I don't have that. I only have the one.
Yeah.
I just have the one.
Well, I'm rocking like not just a water. I got your LaCroix. If it's during a work day, I might have some form of energy.
Yeah.
I got, the coffee. I've got maybe an energy drink. I don't know. I've got everything, right? So it's like 4 or 5 drinks on the desk. Eek. Anyways.
We talked about one thing that would never be on either of our lists too, because I probably should have it on us, but it's not. Skincare routine. I can't bring myself to do it.
We talked about that last night.
I can't do it.
The one thing that my wife just freaks out on. My wife has a whole, I will not disclose because she'll yell at me, but like a whole skincare routine, right? Like I'm sure most wives do. So she's doing her thing and I just brush my teeth and go to bed. And she's like, what's
In and
wrong
out.
with you? And I'm like, I gotta be
out of
honest,
there.
I haven't washed my face in like 10 years.
Since middle school. I don't and I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Anyways, that's our show, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. A little fun fish and talk. We'll definitely try to mix that in as much as we can and keep the variety alive with these slow rolling thunders. It's a blast.
We were talking about maybe just doing one that's all slow rolling thunders. Like take a show and just do the whole show.
Rails. Fully off the rails. There are no rails.
We would have an on the rails counter where we talk about.
You just be like,
it'll be an on the rails counter where if we talk about something not like, I think that would be what it is.
Yeah, if we go to fishing related things, there you go. Yeah, we could do that. It'd be a lot of fun. All right, you guys, that's what we got for today. We will be back next week.
Next members only. September 12th is the tentative date, so that's like next month. 9/12 is the date.
9/12 members. We will be back on a consistent schedule. I know we missed a month, but hopefully we made it up for it last night with 3 big giveaways. And we hope to do that for everybody else as well. So if you want to join, you can click join below. Appreciate you guys. What else we got coming up? Video Friday. We're going to do a
BFS kit. And then this weekend, we're doing some kayak fishing. Not our kayaks. So maybe going to go.
Yeah, we got a really fun kayak review coming for you that you guys are going to like a lot. So stay tuned for that. Also, Paul will be sitting on a new piece of floating plastic, probably. We hope. We'll see. Stay tuned. Instagram. That's where you'll see it. All right, you guys. Really appreciate y'all, and we'll see you next time. Charles, take us out.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball, and I prayed for my downfall, and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game.